The Tragedy of Cinema podcast is intended as a family-friendly program that by extension strives to be inclusive to all people regardless of their ethnicity, gender, creed, or any other identifying factors in this incredibly diverse world of ours. With that said, some of the films we discuss may contain serious subject matters or have content considered morally objectionable by today's standards. We do not intend to condone or dismiss these aspects of these films, but our primary focus will be on what we believe the film succeeds at, some fun facts, and our personal enjoyment factors of each film. With that said, we hope you enjoy the show.
Oh, the neon light. Jimbo and Kyle take flight. 80s dreams on its delight. In the realm of black and white, movies and TV flow through the stories we all know. Silver screen tales unfold in the magic they bestow. The tragedy of cinema, when memories shimmer. Join us as we toast to the tales we love the most.
I could a tale unfold, whose lightest word would harrow up thy soul, freeze thy young blood.
I am here to investigate the disappearance of a young girl. Where is Rowan Morrison?
If Rowan Morrison existed, we would know.
I suspect murder.
Sergeant, I've already
In the name of God, woman, what kind of mother are you? That can stand by and see your own child slaughtered?
You are the fool, Mr. Harry.
You're liars. You are despicable little liars. God in heaven, even these people can't be that mad. Where is Rowan Morrison?
If Rowan Morrison existed, we would know.
I suspect murder.
She was back.
You are the fool, Mr. Harry.
Where is Rowan Morrison?
Oh my God!
All right, guys, welcome back to the Tragedy of Cinema podcast. I'm your host, Jimbo.
I'm your co-host, Kyle.
Kyle, today we're doing a movie I picked out. It's basically one of the first horror movies that I remember being impressed with long ago. And that, of course, is the original Wicker Man from way back, I believe, in 1974?
73.
I wasn't even born yet, Kyle. That's
Yeah.
how old this movie
Although it
is.
didn't come to the U.S. till 74.
Right.
So, yeah.
So I was right.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, for once. But Kyle, before we get started, let me throw out a question to you.
I'll give you an answer, Jimbo.
This is a movie, basically, I would say, about a cult and the festivities surrounding the cult and their celebration. What movie do you think of recently that was made that reminds you of this movie?
Oh,
I know they redid this movie with Nicolas Cage, which isn't bad either.
yeah. I have to look up the name of the movie because I forget the name. It was a movie where had that guy in a bear costume. They set fire to a massive effigy with him in it. and it was about a girl. Who went
There's
to a cult.
Midsommar. Is
Yeah,
that it?
Midsommar. That's exactly what I'm thinking of. Thank you, Jimbo.
That's exactly what
that
came
was
to my
the
mind.
first one I was going to. I haven't watched the movie myself, actually, so I don't know the entire plot of it. But that's probably the first movie I went to, and also there's a lot of horror movies that kind of deal with like cult like aspects or something like that too. So yeah, and
do you like these type of movies?
I do, because it does give the sense of like you can't trust your neighbor kind of feeling, and like the feeling of everyone around you watching you, and kind of like not the sense of distrust and paranoia that goes into it. There were other films I feel like the Slime and other movies like that kind of dealt with like the Cold War kind of feeling of everyone's communist around you, but this one deals with like the cold aspect. Always kind of deals with like I think even more not necessarily. Conservative is the first word to come to mind, but like conservative, like kind of like mindset of people with like ancient beliefs or some like archaic beliefs, watching you and judging you based on those aspects. Particularly in this case, being a kind of a pagan cult kind of makes it a little more creepy because that's like ancient religion kind of ideas of animal sacrifices and sacrifices in general and how you're supposed to act and all those things can be very disturbing to a younger person especially, or a person who's just not familiar with those kind of rituals. So I do love this genre. Actually, I think it's very interesting because there's anything you can do with it you want. I think H.P. Lovecraft did a lot of kind of stuff like the Fish People movies, the Fish People stories he had, and stuff like that too. So there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with ancient cults. Jimbo, do you kind of like this genre, do you think?
I do, because it makes you think. I think this is one of those mystery movies, if you will. It starts off as like a detective mystery movie, which is really cool because he's looking for a little girl. Basically, I'll cover the plot just a little bit before you dive in, but it's basically a detective that has been sent over to the Summer Isles he received this note that said that please help me find my little girl. She's been missing
for like 3 months.
And she's 12 years old.
Yeah.
And so, as soon as he gets to the island, he flies in by plane, and you can tell right away that they don't want him on the island because he's like, hey, you, roll out here and get me, basically. They're like, nah.
No.
We got to get Lord Summerall.
This is private, sir. This is private land. And it's like, I don't care.
He's like, I have the authority. Do you want to spend the night in jail, basically, is
like,
what he
we'll
said.
Call the police. I'm like, I am the police.
So they said nobody comes aboard unless it was a Lord...
by his approval or something like that.
Lord Summerall, is that his name?
Yeah, Lord Summerall.
And,
or Summerisle, sorry, Lord
Summerisle.
Summerisle.
Yeah.
Christopher Lee's character.
Yeah. So... they finally get him on board, and basically he's going around asking all these different people, have you seen this girl? They're like, we've never seen her. We don't even know
Never
her.
existed, basically.
No.
Yeah.
And some of the clues you get along the way, if you pay attention, it's like when he goes to where he's staying, he's basically staying in a room above a bar, and there's pictures on the wall of like Summer Isle pageant winner last 69, 70, and the one for this year is missing.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. But he goes and he searches all around the island. He goes to the actual mother of the girl. She's like, well, that's not her. She's sitting right in here as my daughter, and it's a totally different girl.
Yeah.
It's very, very interesting. And the girl's drawing a bunny, and they're like, oh, yeah, she's real, but she's now a bunny. And you're like, what in the world is going on here? Mm. And then to see the climax of the movie, heartbreaking. Really, really, man,
shocking.
It's got a lot of weird parts in it too. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, definitely.
A lot of, I don't want to say witchcraft, but maybe I'll use that word loosely. But like, pagan rituals
like that too. And like I think Robin Hardy, I've looked up a few like interviews like that too, where like basically talk about like that is kind of like the core aspect of the idea of like how pagan and Catholicism kind of clash together in societies and like that too, and how
where they have a lot of similarities.
Yeah,
but they're different. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and then that ending scene where they're all just standing around on the mountain while he's burning to death inside that Wicker Man.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely shocking.
And it's just one of the creepiest feelings you'll get. But I really enjoy this movie, so Kyle, I can't wait to talk about some of the trivia, but if you want to take it away.
I'll dive right into it. That's right, Jimbo. Okay, so this week we are covering The Wicker Man, released in the United States at least, August 7th of 1974. And just last week we covered The Longest Yard, which actually was released on August 30th of 1974.
And we didn't even know they were
We had no idea about that until we were looking at this movie today. So that was really, really cool. But yeah, quick little synopsis of the story real quick. Sergeant Neil Howie of the West Highland Police receives an anonymous letter requesting his presence at the Summer Isle, a remote Hebridean island famed for its popular and unusual abundant fruit produce. A young girl named Rohan Morrison has been missing for a number of months, and her mother is being uncooperative with inquiries. Due to the island's isolation, it is unlikely she could have been left by herself. Abduction is suspected. Hoo-doo-doo. This film was directed by Robin Hardy, written by Anthony Schaffer, and produced by Peter Snell. Composer, Paul Giovanni. And you'll see Paul Giovanni come up a lot, especially in the soundtrack.
Yep.
And cinematographer, Harry Waxman. Editor, Eric Boyd Perkins. And casting director was Maggie Cartier. Maggie Cartier. Sorry, Cartier. Budget for the film was just $810,000. So this movie was made very cheaply. You would think like $100,000 probably went for just the Wicker Man effigy, probably.
And how much was the? Do you remember how much the budget was for Longest Yard?
Longest Yard. It was actually $2.9 million in 1974. Or, whatever, 1970, whenever they produced the film. But yeah, so, this film cost literally less than a third as much to make, which is incredibly impressive, especially for a film in the UK. Opening weekend, the film grossed a whopping $5,493.
But you got to remember, Kyle, this movie was not allowed to be shown in theaters.
In theaters for the longest time,
Yeah, it was basically just a handful of theaters, so that's probably a pretty good bringing in. And
I'm sure we'll find out this film more than likely had an incredibly long tail to it. This film makes money today. Even I bought it, full price. So I can imagine, 50 some odd years now. We're so old. Just for inflation, $810,000 for the original budget of the film. Just for inflation would be about $5.8 million today. And just for inflation for the opening weekend gross, it would have made $39,475.62. And then gross for the U.S. and Canada, it made $148,900. Adjusting for inflation, that'd be about $1 million today. And then gross worldwide, it made $527,688. And just for inflation, that'd be about $3.8 million today. So gross worldwide, for however long they're having the box office run for the film didn't make its money back. Although I more than suspect this film in VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, 4K Blu-ray, and then whatever kind of like soundtrack sales. Like, I'm sure this movie has made money in its time for sure.
And probably the digital streaming rights too.
Digital streaming, of course, digital streaming rights and every other aspect too. So the Wicker Man has definitely had a very, very long tail, especially as an extreme kind of cult following for a cult film. A cult following for a cult film, Jimbo.
If only people knew the inside joke of that joke. Anyways, that covers the box office data right there. The box office?
The box office.
We're going to start calling you the botch office.
Moving on to the award for the film, we have the 2014 Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films, where we have a nomination for the Best DVD and Blu-ray Special Edition release for The Wicker Man, The Final Cut on Blu-ray. 2014, so only 11 years ago. And then
so strange to say now.
In 2010, there's the award for the Guardians Best Films, where it won the Greatest Film of All Time award for horror film for the Guardians Best Film Awards. I don't know if that could be like a list or like it possibly did win the best film of the that they consider the best horror film ever made. Interesting. Next up, for the 2006 Rhonda Hatton Classic Horror Awards, we have the win for the Rhonda Statuette for Best DVD Commentary Track from Christopher Lee, Mark Commode, Robin Hardy, and Edward Woodard for the original commentary track for the DVD. So that makes the DVD kind of interesting to find sometime, maybe. Next up, for the 2006 Satellite Awards, we have a nomination for Best Classic DVD. And then for the film's actual awards for the film itself, and not just their DVD and Blu-rays, we have the 1979 Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Film Awards, where we have a nomination for Best Writing, Best Actor to Christopher Lee, Best Music to Paul Giovanni, Best Director to Robin Hardy, and Best Horror Film, where it actually won the award for the Saturn Award for Best Horror Film, 1979. Then, technical details of the film. This film has a runtime of 88 minutes for the original theatrical cut, 94 minutes for the final cut, and then 101 minutes for the Blu-ray Extended Edition. Sound mix is color mono. Sound mix is mono. I said color mono. What is color mono? I got the disease.
You think this film would have worked in black and white?
Oh, I think it would have been very cool in black and white.
Really cool.
Yeah, I think that could.
Or even 3D would be really cool.
Oh yeah, 3D.
3D black and white.
3D black and white. Now you're talking, Jimbo. Now it's a horror film. Color info. This film was in color, simply Eastman color. And aspect ratio is 1.37 by 1 for the negative ratio, 1.66 by 1 for the attenuative ratio, and 1.85 by 1 for the theatrical ratio. This film was largely filmed in Scotland and the UK and many other locations, specifically like Dumfries, the Harbour Cards Gallery, and the Logan Buntic Gardens. So a bunch of United Kingdom shots on location there, so very cool there. Filming dates were between October 9th, 1972 to November 25th of 1972. So just a month and a half to film it. There was just basically 6 weeks, basically, to film this entire movie. So very impressive on that standpoint. Next up, we have the cast for the film. First and foremost, we have the character Sergeant Howie, played by Edward Woodward. Edward Woodward was also in such films such as the Christmas Carol in 1984, the film Hot Fuzz in 2007, one of my personal favorite Edgar Wright films.
By the power of Grayskull. Right?
Yeah. And he was in the Equalizer television show from 1985 to 1989. Then next up we have the legendary Christopher Lee playing Lord Summerisle. Christopher Lee, also best known as being Dracula in the original films, and the Man with the Golden Gun in 1974.
The Hammer films, Kyle.
What? The Hammer films.
Not the original.
Not the original, sorry. The Hammer films. Sorry, my mistake. And also, of course, the Lord of the Rings series where he played
Lord Sauron.
Lord Sauron.
What an iconic voice, too.
And Count Dooku in the Star Wars Episode 2 and Star Wars Episode 1 and 3. So, or was he in 3? I can't remember. No, he wasn't in 3. I think he got murdered in 2, I think.
Or does he get decapitated in them?
Oh, it's right. He gets decapitated in 3, I think. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, spoilers.
Because the end of 2 is
the end of 2 is the war
Yoda
clones,
and Dooku
and
fighting.
3 is the very beginning of the film
Yes.
where Count Dooku gets murdered by Anakin. Spoilers. By the way, Count Dooku doesn't make it.
Anakin is Darth Vader.
What? Han Solo's father. There we go. Throw him for a loop. Moving on. We have Diane Salento playing the role of Miss Rose. Diane Salento was also in such films such as Tom Jones in 1963.
It's not unusual to love
by anyone. And Humbre in 1967. Next up, we have Britt Eklund playing the role of Willow. Britt Eklund was also in the film with Christopher Lee, The Man with the Golden Gun, in 1974, and the film Get Carter in 1971. Then we have Ingrid Pitt playing the role of the librarian. Ingrid Pitt was also in the film Where Eagles Dare in 1968 and The Vampire Lovers in 1970. Then we have Lindsay Kemp playing the role of Alder McGregor. Lindsay Kemp was also in the film Cruel Garden in 1982. Then we have Russell Waters playing the role of Harbour Master. Russell Waters is also in the film The Avengers in 1961. No, not that Avengers, the other one. And then we have Aubrey Morris playing the role of Old Gardener / Gravedigger. Aubrey Morris was also in the film A Clockwork Orange in 1971. And that's going to conclude the cast list of The Wicker Man. There's many other actors playing small roles, but we'll just kind of bring them up as they come up if we need to. And I may have glossed over possibly another interesting actor, but there's just so many characters playing the role of, like, hairdresser or musician that it's kind of like hard to really discern who's who in that kind of cast list. So we're going to move on to the notes of the film itself.
All right, Kyle, I'm going to throw this out there.
All right, Jimbo, throw it at me.
Britt Eklund, right? She played Willow? Is that who played Willow?
Yes, Britt Eklund.
Okay. At the time, she had a pretty famous boyfriend.
Ooh.
Who is a British singer.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty popular.
Oh.
We'll see if you can guess. I'll give you a hint.
A British singer.
It's not Elton John.
How dare you know what I was thinking? Elton John too.
Also, he tried to get this stopped when he found out that she appears nude in the movie.
Oh. Was it one of the Beatles? No, I have no idea then, Jimbo. I have no idea.
Rod Stewart.
Rod Stewart, cool.
Yeah,
all right.
So
I don't know many Rod Stewart songs. Granted, I'm not 50, so.
Neither am I, but I know Rod Stewart's songs. All right, but anyway, okay, so Britt Eklund, she was pregnant, actually, at the time with her son, Nick Adler, while filming this.
Oh.
And would only agree to shoot her nude scenes from the waist up. A body double, Lorraine Peters, was secretly used for the rear full body shots of Willow dancing. That is such a weird scene, too.
Bizarre.
Very. The scenes were filmed after she had left the set. When shooting was over, Eklund was furious to learn she had been doubled in those shots by director Robin Hardley said it was Eklund who did not want her bottom to be filmed, as she did not like it. To this day, whenever she is approached by fans to autograph still photos of the fully nude scene, she always refuses because, as she continually points out, it's not her.
Huh. Interesting. No, I respect that. I wouldn't be okay with that either, I guess.
Yeah.
But still, yeah.
But he could have at least said, hey, we're getting somebody else to do this then.
Gave her some warning, gave her some heads up, like, hey, by the way, you're like...
Can you imagine being at a convention and be like, can you sign this for me? She's like, what was this?
This is just a naked lady. This isn't even me. That's very awkward.
The negative and the outtakes of this movie were stored in the vault at Shepperton Studios. Kyle, what usually happens when we store negatives and film?
They get lost or destroyed.
After the company was purchased by new owners, they ordered the vault to be cleared of all old material. The vault manager accidentally put the negatives, which just arrived from the lab, with the ones that were to be destroyed. Will they ever learn?
No.
Just think of all the movie history we've lost just from stupidity or natural disasters.
David Zaslav, if I got my hands on you, you destroyed Warner Brothers, you monster.
But we can't get the Batgirl released. By the way, did you see they released some of the Batgirl footage?
Yeah, if only they released 24 of those for every single second of film, and just if they released like around...
What I saw was pretty cool. I think it was Firefly.
Firefly
was shooting... He was like riding on the top of an ambulance shooting flame at Batgirl. She's doing a wheelie. I thought this is pretty cool.
There's no way that movie wasn't good. Have you seen Bad Boys 4? That movie was awesome. That was the same guys who made the Batgirl movie. There was no way that movie wasn't good.
I just wanted to see Brendan Fraser as Firefly.
No, Brendan Fraser probably would have done a great job. Why?
Yep.
Oh, Warner Brothers frustrate me.
I'm going to call Yakko, Wacko, and Dot to go by.
Exactly. Get the Yakko Corporation on it.
Sir Christopher Lee said that he considers this to be one of his greatest ever roles.
Oh, wow.
I mean, from a lot of the stuff that he's done, that's pretty impressive.
I mean, like, when a dude is like he has some of the most iconic roles in just cinema history flat out, to say this is one of his most iconic roles,
especially
is
like the popularity of especially like the Star Wars universe, Lord of the Rings universe, and to say that this is
it's just there's a few things he hasn't touched.
Well, it's like Alec Guinness. He's like Obi-Wan Kenobi, but he didn't even like it. He's like
I get where Alec Guinness is coming from, where he just doesn't really care about science fiction or that kind of nonsense at all. But Christopher Lee kind of understood everything he was in for the most part. So him have this role, he considered this role very high up, is both a little bit surprising, but also the highest compliment he possibly could give, because he understood what he was doing.
Filmed in 1972 in Galloway, Scotland, and there was some controversy when Britt Eklund labeled it as the bleakest place on earth. The producers were forced to apologize to the locals because of this. It is rumored that the original negative of the full-length version was used as landfill in the construction of the M3 motorway in England. Sir Christopher Lee said that this was apparently done on purpose because of Michael Dealey's dislike of this movie. So we're going to run over with...
Just put it in the landfill. Yeah. Have a little conspiratorial mindset there. Christopher Lee, that's pretty funny, actually. I don't know what Michael Doyle thought of the film or why, but that's funny.
The current version available in the US and UK is still incomplete, despite its director's cut status. Still missing is a lengthy speech made by Lord Summerisle on apples. He talks about the apples, remember?
Oh, yeah.
But I guess there's a big old long thing.
Giant long speech about the apples.
I would love to hear it. The Evil Eye rowing boat, which takes Sergeant Howie to and from his plane, was not constructed for this movie. It belonged to a resident of Plockton. Upon seeing it, the producers decided it would suit the movie. The boat survived until 2004 when it was destroyed in a storm.
Oh,
always a storm.
Yeah.
In the director's cut, there is a scene in which we see Sergeant Howie and PC McTaggart in their police car. This was filmed in a garage. The illusion of passing cars was created by two members waving flashlights past their windshield.
Effective. Cheap and effective.
I love it.
That's how you make movies, guys. It's great.
Director, there's a director cameo, Robin Hardy. He was the preacher in the mainland church scene.
Cool.
Information concerning this movie's checkered distribution history in the U.S. Are we ready? Opened September 30th, 1977 in Minneapolis, Minnesota with a PG rating. Now, Kyle, one thing I do know, this is not a PG movie. This is not.
There might be
PG
some
movie.
adult content in this film.
Some?
I think would warrant maybe a PG-13 or an R rating, possibly. Yeah. What do you think, Jimbo?
Well, I think there's more naked women in this movie there are in strip clubs in Las Vegas on any given
There
night.
might be some sexualized content of some nature in this film. I don't know, Jimbo.
Yeah.
Just let the kids watch.
That's one thing I wish they would have toned down in this movie is the nudity. It was just sometimes just over the top too much.
It went as far as it was the 70s, Jimbo.
I know, but I'm just saying. But then again, another run on January 28th of 81 was also PG, I guess. But Variety reviewed it in their May 15, 1974 issue. New Orleans run, October 28th, 78. San Francisco, January 79. Los Angeles with a new ad campaign, 3/9/79, and an R rating. New York City, March 26, 1980, with an R rating and distributed by Dynamite Entertainment, Abraxas Releasing. So they finally got their senses about.
I seriously don't know why it actually wouldn't get an R rating from the start. I mean, truthfully, I have no idea
we
why.
got to remember the R rating didn't really come around, or PG-13 was a PG-13.
PG-13
so
didn't
was
come
it Gremlins?
Oh yeah, Gremlins was the reason.
was like 80
this film didn't need it. This film just needed an R rating in the first place. But it's like usually films are only given an R rating because of violence, but because of the sexual nature of this film, so much of the sexual content in this film, you would think it would get an R rating just for that reason alone. If not an adult-only kind of rating, possibly as well. I wouldn't have been surprised if this film got that from the start. Just for PG, it feels like a critical oversight by the Major Motion Picture Association. I'm assuming they were filmed in that area. I'll look it up real quick, but that's just extreme oversight in my view. So I don't know why it was like that.
Most of the Summer Isle residents are named after trees, flowers, and plants. Did you notice that, Kyle? You had the willow. You had they were all named after.
That's
stuff.
creative.
So,
yeah.
The lyrics, and I got to admit, if you like some crazy soundtracks, this one has some good folklore music to it. Some pretty crazy songs. But the lyrics for the popular song "Corn Rigs Are Bonnie," Kyle, which we just listened to in this movie, was written by Robert Burns in 1775. Mm-hmm. The music was written especially for this movie.
Yeah. Jimbo, you might find this kind of interesting, actually. I just looked up the MPAA founding, and it turned out it was actually founded in 1945 for the kind of like ratings of these films. But actually, it was then shortened to just the MPA in 2019, which I did not know until now. It's just the MPA now, the Motion Picture Association. Huh. Interesting little
What
fact
was it, of America before?
Yeah, it was the Motion Picture Association of America before.
So I guess they do all movies from all
but
countries now?
I just assumed it was still the MPAA for the longest time, and now it's just, we're a worldwide association.
Something new?
Learn something new every day. Yeah, 2019. A new era that I was not aware of until now.
So was it just the PG-13 that came out in
I'll look up in the
Gremlins?
PG-13.
Was it Gremlins or
it was just
Temple of Doom? Or
they had PG and R ratings, but they didn't have the PG-13 until Temple of Doom and Gremlins were
I know we've
doing
talked
everything.
about it at length.
It's all
before.
Spielberg's fault.
There is actually a small archipelago. How do you say that word? Archipelago.
Archipelago. Maybe
They have a McDonald's over in Scotland called the Summer Isles. However, this is apparently unconnected with this movie, at least consciously. Bermuda was also known as Somar's Isle. There's a cameo by Anthony Schaefer. The screenwriter was present during the filming of the final scenes that's said to be amongst the villagers. During a break in the filming of the final scene, a member of the wardrobe department ran out to provide coats to the three leading actresses. Ingrid Pitt noticed that the extras gathered around them were not being given any protection from the freezing cold weather, and she decided, out of solidarity, that she didn't have to wear her coat either.
Oh. Okay, cool. Okay, so quick fact about the PG-13 rating, which this film obviously wouldn't qualify for. But the first film to use it was Red Dawn in 1984, and it was established because, once again, of films like Indiana Jones and Temple of Red Doom and Gremlins.
Temple of Red Doom? Is that what you
Temple? I did say Temple of Red Doom. I did. The Temple of Doom and Gremlins received PG ratings despite their potentially mature content. So there we go. Red Dawn was the first film to receive a PG-13 rating in 1984.
Yeah, I'm sure this should have been an R.
Oh, yeah, this was a hard R.
Sir Christopher Lee offered Peter Cushing the lead role of Sergeant Howie. He turned it down due to scheduling conflicts. That would have been awesome to see Peter Cushing as the
Oh my god, that would been so cool. You're right.
legend.
Right.
It would have been awesome.
Oh man, Peter Cushing would have knocked it out of the park too.
Oh, that's the Spectre. Me and my dad covered a movie when he was like a detective inspector.
Yeah.
He would have killed this role.
Yeah. I love the song about him.
Lord Summerisle's speech began with, "I think I could turn and live with the animals," was based on a poem by Walt Whitman. So very interesting.
WW.
This is really cool too. Sir Christopher Lee paid his own press tour out of his own pocket, and he hit every stop in the USA willing to interview him about the movie. According to a rumor, some farmers in Iowa were surprised to see him on live early morning public access shows.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. Oh man, I wonder if that footage is still out there somewhere. If it was also destroyed. Or
the girls in the classroom were supposed to be around age 12, but Leslie Mackey, who played Daisy, was 21 at the time.
I didn't expect that. That one caught me off guard. I was going to think maybe she was 15 or something like
21.
that. 21. Girl, you're paying taxes.
The U.S. re-release was scheduled for November 1978, but was pushed to January 1979 due to the infamous Jonestown Massacre, Kyle.
Oh, gosh.
That happened in that same month. Ironically, like the movie, the incident was also tied to a cult named People's Temple and was led by their charismatic leader and pastor Jim Jones. Jones also died in the mass suicide incident. In total, a staggering number of 938 people died in the massacre, which remained the highest number of American citizen fatality until...
Until what?
What do you think?
Until, I don't know.
The highest American fatality until citizens.
9/11.
Yep, September 11th.
Oh wow,
2001.
Okay.
So.
I was gonna think it was gonna be like a massacre, like of a mass suicide or something like that too. Man, yeah, Jonestown Massacre, absolutely terrible. I looked around, before my time, but I remember watching footage of like the helicopter shots back on YouTube from that whole disaster, and
drink
terrible,
the Kool-Aid,
terrible
Kyle.
shame. Yeah, many of them were forced to as well. Yeah. That's the crazy part too. It wasn't like they all voluntarily took the Kool-Aid and committed suicide. They were like many of them were forced to take the Kool-Aid, which is just even more horrifying. Don't join a cult, people. Don't join cults.
The amphibious aircraft that Sergeant Howie takes to the island was a Thurston Teal TSC-1A registration G-AXZN, owned and flown in the aerial sequences by Christopher Murphy. These were filmed October to November 1972. On January 13, 1973, the plane suffered an engine failure on approach to Biggin Hill Airport in Kent and was set down in a field 2 miles away. The owner left it there unattended, meaning to return to fix a broken undercarriage strut and fly it away. But an arsonist set fire to the plane on January 26, 1973, and it was totally destroyed.
Oh, gosh.
Only 38 of all variants of this aircraft were made from 1968 to 1978.
Who knows how many actually survived at this point?
That would have been such a cool prop to have, too.
Yeah,
man.
you're right. Oh, well.
There's even a cooler prop that gets stolen, too. You'll find out. Mm-hmm. So, according to Seamus Flannery, in a subsequent documentary, director Robert Hardin surprised the cast by suddenly announcing midway through filming that they were making a musical. Kyle, do you consider this a musical?
There are musical aspects to it. I wouldn't consider the whole film itself a musical, but definitely I understand, from a filming perspective, I think you would say like these shots are the musical shots of the film. So I would say you include in that kind of form, like that kind of perspective of how you're filming stuff.
But I don't know.
The whole film itself, I wouldn't say
because you have like Willow sings, you have them people singing all together, you have them ladies singing at Stonehenge, there's a lot of singing in this movie.
Yeah, you're right.
And the guy singing at the bar about the landlord's daughter.
I guess I would need to broaden my definition of what makes a musical film a musical film.
Because we all know Kyle's well in depth in musicals.
Oh, I do watch a lot of musicals.
Have you watched Wicked yet?
Wicked? No, I have not watched that yet. I don't watch many Disney films nowadays.
Apparently nobody else does either.
Snow White. Yeah. Anyways.
Okay. In 2003, the Crichton campus of the University of Glasgow and Dumfries and Galloway hosted a 3-day conference on this movie. The conference led to 2 collections of articles about it.
No.
3-day conference on just this movie.
3-day conference on just the movie. That's a lot of talking about. Okay.
Yep. According to Sir Christopher Lee, Michael Dealey told him to his face that this was one of the 10 worst movies he had ever seen. Lee added that Dealey didn't stand up when Lee's wife entered into the room. So Christopher Lee's like, hey, you didn't stand up when my wife entered the room. What a gentleman. Dealey denies saying this, but Lee insisted it happened. In his 2008 autobiography, Blade Runners, Deer Hunters, and Blowing the Bloody Doors Off, My Life in Cult Movies, Dealey referred to Lee as a chief whiner and said he had paranoia.
Oh my god.
That's a title of a book, though. Blade Runners, Deer Hunters, and Blowing the Bloody Doors Off, My Life in Cult Movies. We got to find that one.
That sounds like an interesting book. Interesting read.
Sir Christopher Lee and Britt Eklund appeared in the James Bond movie The Man with the Golden Gun. Diane Cilantro was previously married to former James Bond Sir Sean Connery. Sean Connery should have been in this movie, too. It would have just been the trifecta with him, Peter Cushing and Lee. Oh, it'd been awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Director Robin Hardy explained the meaning of the scene with the woman with an egg in her hand nursing a baby while sitting in a gravesite to Alan Cummings and Scotland on screen.
Jeez.
Really weird weird scene. But according to Hardy, it is a fertility ritual, and she was hoping for another baby. So,
okay.
I wish they would explain some of this stuff instead of just be like, "Ta-da! Here's this."
This is what's happening. Like, without intimate knowledge of pagan traditions, like, you really don't know.
In his book, Inside the Wicker Man, author Alan Brown tells us there was one curious interlude. A local man, Jimmy Kirkpatrick, was approached by crew members to appear in a scene in which, dressed in a dinner jacket and acting at his wits' end, he walked across a bridge, then jumped into the river fully clothed. The scene was abandoned the next day when weather conditions turned bad, and because the river was at half tide at the scheduled time, it is difficult to explain why or what this scene represented for who on Summer Isle would be wearing evening dress. Certainly there is no reference to it in the script. So it's like, hey, we dare you to jump on the bridge, we'll film it.
There's
no film in here.
There's no film in here. Oh, how convenient.
You've been punked. On his website, Ian Cutler, one of the musicians in this movie, writes, this film had been badly cut over the years, and Ian remembers doing scenes that have never appeared in any version of the film. One such scene is the dream sequence, which Ian can remember parts of quite clearly. He believes that this was filmed when Sergeant Howie is sleeping while the hand of glory burns. You remember the hand that they light the candle? Mm-hmm. During the dream, which is a kaleidoscope of images, a huge egg-shaped stone is revolving faster and faster. Also, the woman in the churchyard who is feeding the baby has the egg in her hand and crushes it. All very symbolic stuff. The scene has never been mentioned anywhere to my knowledge. Has anyone out there ever heard of it? Musical arranger Gary Carpenter remembers something similar. I have a vivid memory of having to score a phenomenally complex dream sequence for Howie, which was like post-scoring an animation. It was so intricate. The fades and dissolves are extensive use of library footage for the sequence seriously dented the budget. Despite Robin Hardy's enthusiasm for it and its inclusion in what I assumed at the time to be the director's cut, I have never seen reference made to it again. It is no existing version of the film.
Probably is no existing version, even like a negative of it either, too. That's incredibly sad.
This movie was shot in 25 different locations. According to director Robert Hardy, while this movie was largely filmed in Scotland, the aerial shots from the plane arriving were filmed in South Africa because they didn't have the budget to glue blossoms to that many trees. So this was actually filmed like in the, I think, was it the winter, I think? And they had to glue trees or something. I think it's in here.
Yeah. I've seen list of locations. I only have a list of half of the locations, but the 12 more ones were all just the UK, so I just filmed this just from there. But South Africa makes sense too.
Kyle, okay, let's see if Kyle's been pretty spot on a couple of times today. Kyle, how many hours did Willow's dance scene take to shoot?
How many hours did it take to shoot? I'm gonna completely guess 19 hours.
No, lower.
7 hours.
Higher.
12 hours.
Higher. 13 hours.
13 hours. That was close.
Yeah. 13 hours of doing that nude dancing, though.
That's a lot of nude dancing.
That is one of the weirdest parts of the movie, though.
Especially during an era where they just didn't have the same kind of... well, whatever.
And let's talk about that scene just for a second, because... No.
Yeah,
no.
Okay, sorry.
Okay,
no,
so the sergeant, Howie or whatever, he goes to bed. He's laying in bed, and all of a sudden this thumping starts happening on his wall. And... I guess it's the barmaid's daughter or whatever, the barkeep's daughter. She's naked and she's up dancing, and he's starting to sweat, and he goes over to the wall where she's beating on the wall, and it's weird.
Yeah.
But you come to find out that, and well, I don't know if I want to talk about it here or wait till the end, but basically what it comes down to is they have had this plan the whole entire time because Howie is a virgin. You come to find out.
Yeah.
And I think that was an attempt to lure him, but this whole ordeal he goes through on this island is scripted every step of the way by Lord Summerisle, all the way to each of the villagers, to the little girl, to the ending, everything. And I think it's Lord Summerisle at the end. He's like, "You played your part perfectly. You know, why else would you come here looking for this girl and a virgin and blah blah blah." Just the way it was done is just outstanding. But I mean, there is some weird stuff, and I don't know. I shouldn't like this movie because it's really weird, but I do, and we'll get there.
Yeah.
So in between take of, I just wish there was not that many nude scenes, man. It's just too much sometimes.
It is a lot.
Watch the TV cut.
It's a lot, yeah.
So in between takes of Britt Eklund's nude dance scene, she was covered with a towel, which Gary Carpenter had to remove every time they filmed. Quote, "It's the weirdest job I've ever had, but certainly not the most unpleasant." This movie is also known as the Citizen Kane of horror movies by Cinefantastique magazine, and I might have to agree with that.
It's certainly out there. I could certainly see, like...
Because what's going on half the time, yes.
Yeah. There's a lot more to read into there, but I don't know if I make that statement, but I can certainly see why someone made that statement.
Maybe they should call, like, the Castle Rosebud or something. So Lindsay Kemp, who played Britt Eklund's father, was only 4 years older than her. The later comedy horror police procedural film Hot Fuzz, featuring Edward Woodward in the ensemble cast, includes some story parallels with The Wicker Man, which Kyle and I have alluded to a little bit earlier. Yeah. Half a dozen of the fishermen...
What did you say? The grades are good.
Half a dozen of the fishermen in the harbor were played by many locals from Plockton. They are Peter Geddes, Munde Giles, who also owned the Evil Eye boat, which was a pretty cool boat. The Eye of Sauron.
Hey. Yeah. It all ties together. Christopher Lee only played one role in his entire career.
It's one continuation.
Yeah.
What if that was the origin story of Saruman?
Exactly. J.R. Tolkien. He was ahead of his time.
Kenny John McKenzie, Johnny Bogles McRae, and Tommy Ur. The latter was from Kyle. From Kyle. That must be a place.
You're welcome.
Poor guy. Among the Scottish locals who appeared in this film in incredible roles are Rhoda McLeod, who is the girl who falls out of the closet scene. Remember when he's going to search the houses and she falls out? But it was shot in Plockton. Betty Dixon, various crowd scenes, an extra in hairdressing salon. Her husband appears as an extra in the courtyard, and her daughter participated in the chop chop scene. That's funny too. Andy Bays, Green Man in Patreon wearing red shirt. Mark Sunderland, Green Man in Patreon wearing gray sweater. Elizabeth McAdam Laughlin, extra in the parade and courtyard. Jack Maltman, old guy villager wearing glasses, standing behind Sergeant Howie on a cliff. Now that is a credit. The old guy villager wearing glasses, standing behind Sergeant Howie on a cliff.
I can find that.
Jack Maltman.
Jack Maltman.
Yeah. Annie Finley was a villager who looks out window when Sergeant Howie arrives. And Martin Coleridge, man tending to garden. Sandra McDonald, woman at the spinning wheel. And David Graham, blonde Patreon at the Green Man Inn.
Yeah. I don't see Jack Maltman on here, but I do have Tina Hart playing Woman in a Yellow Dress with Oak in a Green Man Inn.
Nice. The composer, composer Gary Carpenter reminisced on his website about being on set for Britt Eklund Willow's infamous nude scene, including using a body double in portions of it without Eklund knowing. Quote, Paul felt it necessary, after a lot of pleading on my part, that I be on set for the now infamous shoot of Willow's song, thumping a drum to keep her in time with the playback when she danced and helping out with the lip sync when she sang. The shoot was tiresome. A 13-hour day by my reckoning. One of my little other jobs, invented out of the sheer boredom and hard to find in any job description, was whipping Brett's towel away, which she was usually using to cover herself before each take. The much-noted complication arose because of the need to covertly slide the rear body double in, which was usually preceded in makeup, asking for a small adjustment that needed Britt offset. So they were like, hey, we need you to come to makeup. Actually, all the subterfuge was hokum, really. The story at the time was that the day before the shoot, the publicist distributed a note to each room at the Kirotree Hotel announcing that a body double was being used and on no account should Miss Eklund be informed. Sadly, he did not exclude Britt's room. I can categorically affirm that Lorraine Peters was the body double. As to Jane Jackson, who has it on record that she was filmed by a man in a sheepskin coat as the body double, I would venture to guess that her footage now resides safely in someone's private collection.
Interesting. Okay.
Yep. So, now here's another messed up scene. And I don't like talking about stuff like that, but we're going to, I guess.
Okay.
I do it for the people.
For the
I did
people,
it
Jimbo.
for the rock.
For the podcast,
For the
Jimbo.
rock.
For the greater good.
According to composer Gary Carpenter, Lorraine Peters, who was the rear body double for Britt Eklund during her nude dance scene, was also the naked woman weeping on the grave and credited as such. Peters was having her period on that day.
Oh, no.
And because of the camera angle, she couldn't wear a tampon, so she was dripping blood on the grass. He said, consequently, and despite the best efforts of the crew to swab up after each take, DNA evidence probably survives at that location to this day.
Oh. Okay. Fun facts about movies.
You told me to do it, Kyle. I told you I didn't want to.
Yeah.
Well, you should.
I
Just
did.
another listen. Don't listen to Kyle.
Ever.
In a 2008 interview, director Robin Hardy said it wasn't Jane Jackson or Lorraine Peters, regardless of musical director Gary Carpenter's claim, who they filmed nude from the back during Britt Eklund's infamous naked dance scene. So there's a lot surrounding this naked dance scene.
Yeah.
She did appear topless, but she didn't want to show her rear. So it was actually a stripper he hired in Glasgow, Scotland that vaguely resembled Eklund. He said, we had to find somebody rather quickly. The girl we found in a club was promised back the next day to the place she was performing. To my distress, I discovered she was still with the crew having a good time 2 weeks later. Eklund said in an interview on BBC One's Friday Night with Jonathan Ross that that's the story she heard too. I didn't want to show my bottom, but I shot myself in the foot. They put in the ugliest, biggest bottom in the world. Mine was much smaller and much nicer.
Oh, my gosh.
I recently found out it was a stripper from Glasgow. Eklund said she was less than pleased with her body double and wished she had felt confident enough to bear all. She confirmed that she was pregnant during the shoot with son Nicholas, but denied long-standing rumors that this was the real reason she refused to strip, claiming she did not know she was pregnant at the time.
Oh.
So,
Okay, then.
there goes the Willow dance.
Now we know more.
Well, let's see if we find any more, Al.
We'll find out.
According to a 2001 article on the UK Independent site, Britt Eklund turned her back on this film, refusing for years even to talk about it. People were not really nice to each other, she says now. It was every man for himself, and if you cheat and lie to people, it creates ill feelings all around. The cause of Eklund's grievances are twofold. The first is her anger over being secretly body doubled during a naked dance sequence with a model with a big you-know-what, being brought back to do the rear view shots after she allowed the director to shoot her naked only from the waist up. Worse, Eklund claims that she was dubbed against her wishes. I did a Scottish accent, and they didn't like that, so they brought jazz singer Annie Ross in to the studio, and she dubbed my voice. It's the only time in my career that I have not used my own voice. Intriguingly, although the voice on screen sounds nothing like Eklund's, editor Eric Boyd Perkins insists that neither he nor his sound man dubbed anything more than a song, leaving an enigmatic question mark over the offending dialogue, which director Robin Hardy is now inclined to think may be Eklund after all.
That's interesting.
So now she's like, that's not my voice. Something's really wrong
That's
here.
really bizarre. For a bizarre film, that's exceptionally bizarre, too.
But wait, we have more. No, I'm kidding. I don't know what it's about. I don't know what this note's about. We'll find out. According to the 2001 article in the UK, publication independent Michael Dealey, managing director at the production company British Lion, denied reports that he declared this film was to be one of the 10 worst movies I've ever seen. Absolute nonsense, he declared. I never said that. I've made worse films than that myself. I thought it was fascinating and genuine ahead of its time, which I have to agree wholeheartedly there. But it was also rather indulgent and very difficult for audience. Indeed, both director Robin Hardy and writer Anthony Schaefer have confirmed Dealey's assessment, reporting that the marketing men of the British Lion were against the first film shown, blah, blah, blah. When the lights went up, they just said, "Is that it? Don't the cavalry come? It's a bit heavy, isn't it?" To which he replied, "Yes, it is, isn't it?" They basically said that they simply declared it unsellable. I'm going to skip some of these because it's getting about to die. So let's keep going. Christopher Lee, who made over 300 films, still claimed this was one of the best movies he ever appeared in. Artificial leaves and blossoms had to be glued on.
The willow trees, or
Due to the very small budget, most of the cast, including Sir Christopher Lee, worked without pay.
Such as their investment in the film. Impressive work there.
The entire film focuses on traditional May Day celebration, but claims a pagan origin for the festive rituals. The cave scenes were filmed in the Wookey Hole Caves, a noted tourist attraction located in Somerset. The sacrifice at the end of the film is specifically designed in dialogue as a death and rebirth ritual. In comparative mythology, such rituals are associated with the theme of dying and rising deity. It's some Greek stuff there. We won't go into that.
Okay.
The temperature was so cold during filming that in order to prevent their breath from showing, the actors had to suck on ice cubes.
Jeez.
Let's see here. Yeah, we can skip that. We can skip that too. So here we go. According to Brett Eklund, some animals may have perished inside the burning Wicker Man. According to director Robin Hardy, the animals were not inside the Wicker Man when it was set alight. The scene was faked, and great care was taken that they were not in danger of being hurt. Also, prior to shooting the final scene, Edwin Woodward was in the Wicker Man, and a goat was pinned in above him. Because the goat was scared at being shut up, it urinated on him.
Jeez.
During his final scenes inside the Wicker Man, Edward Woodward was reading his lines from giant cue cards placed around the surrounding cliffs. How big did those have to be?
That'd be huge.
Bring it forward! The actual Wicker Man was constructed and later burned at Burrowhead, Scotland. The stumps remained at the location of the shoot for 3 decades. It became a landmark for this movie's fans, who were outraged when the stumps were cut down and stolen in late 2006 by someone on a 4-wheeler.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see here. On his off days, Edward Woodward reportedly was asked if he wanted to go to the spot where the climax of the movie was to be shot to see the Wicker Man structure. He declined every time, preferring to see it for the first time when the scene was shot. So Woodward saw the structure for the first time as Howie was dragging him over the top of the hill. Howie's iconic cries was half Howie and half Woodward. As the camera was moved around to film the burning scene, Woodward asked director Robin Hardy if he was actually going to be put into the Wicker Man, which Hardy answered in the affirmative. As he was carried up the steps to the structure's midsection by Ian Campbell, who was Oak, Woodward repeatedly told Campbell, "Don't you drop me, don't you dare drop me," with Campbell laughing reassuringly that he wouldn't. Then came the burning scene. Woodward repeatedly said that in his entire career, spanning over 6 decades, he was never more scared than when he was inside the Wicker Man as it burned, telling British film critic Mark Kermode in an interview that his terror forced him to act his socks off. According to Ingrid Pitt, the weather was so cold that the final scene that Edward Woodward used to warm his naked feet between her knees, although she comforted him by saying, "Don't worry, they're going to burn you in a minute." Jeez. And a subplot of the film is that Neil Howie is a virgin, resists invitations to have sex with Willow McGregor. His virginity turns out to be the reason for him being chosen as a human sacrifice, as pagans appreciate a virgin sacrifice. So, Kyle, I'll let you go first. What do you think of The Wicker Man?
The Wicker Man. I think every compliment for it is well deserved. This is one of those like seminal films of all time in terms of being a horror movie and just in films in general. It's one of those things where just like if you want to be an appreciative or if you want to appreciate cinema, The Wicker Man has to be one of those things you have to watch. In my case, I have to watch this, I think, a few more times because I watched it kind of half-heartedly a few times. I feel like I really need to sit down and give it the attention it fully deserves. But this film probably is a strong 8 out of 10 for me as it stands, and if anything, that number will probably only go up after multiple rewatches of this film overall. Because it's a bizarre film, it's a very weird film, but the more I learn about it, the more I appreciate it, the more I think this film really should stand the test of time and be recognized as one of the best films of all time in many respects. So for me, it's a strong 8 out of 10, if not going up even higher over time. And that's kind of where I stand. There's no like specific compliments I necessarily have for it necessarily, but everything that we kind of mentioned going forward into this feels deserved to me. I think this film is a classic. Jimbo, how do you feel about it?
Well, Kyle, when I was a younger lad.
A younger lad.
Even younger than you. When I was in grade school, elementary even, I used to go to the library and I used to collect Hardy Boys books. As a matter of fact, I still have some on the bookshelf over there on the bottom. You can see them.
I can see.
I love a good detective story. Mm-hmm. And this is a great detective story. Mm-hmm. It had me intrigued. I'm trying to figure it out, along with the audience, what is going on. Where is this little girl? And somebody has to know something. This letter came from here. Where is she? Yeah. And as it goes on and on, you're just more intrigued, and it's getting weirder and weirder. The only downfall I have of this movie is the gratuitous nudity. You don't need all that. Yes, it shows some of the crazy stuff. Like when the ladies are dancing around Stonehenge naked, it's basically a fertility thing about them getting pregnant. They're all pregnant, I do believe. Yeah. But those were rubber suits too. I didn't get to that in the notes, but they were rubber suit.
So
it wasn't
fake pregnancy
yes,
suits. Yeah,
right. So that whole Willow scene, the dancing scene. I mean, just going through the notes, studying it, it's really weird. But when I think of horror movies, I've always said my number one favorite has always been The Fog. John Carpenter's The Fog, the original Fog. And I'm a big Jason Voorhees fan, Friday the 13th fan.
Yeah.
For me, this is probably in my top 10 favorite horror movies of all time.
Wow.
I just think there's something to it, that it being like one of the first ones that drew me in and captivated me.
It had an impact on you.
And impacted me. And even the remake, it was okay. I mean, it's Nicolas Cage, but when you watch something like that and it has an effect on you that makes you still think about it, when you watch it, you're like, man, this still has me intrigued. When you don't watch it for a while and you go back and you watch it and you're like, man, this is crazy. So for me, just the only thing I'm going to ding it on, the soundtrack is really crazy too. I listened to it on the way to work. There is some really crazy stuff in the soundtrack too. A lot of folklore music.
Also good though. Like it's weird.
It's weird, but it's good. But it ties into the movie perfectly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like the landlord's daughter. I think it's called Gentle Johnny. I think that's the song she's singing. Mm-hmm. And that, what is it? The barley or something, or barley or something at the
corn rigs
or bar.
Yeah, Gentle Johnny and Summers is Incumin.
Yeah, and the Summers is coming. That's the song they're singing at the end where they're dancing around while he's burning to death. Mm-hmm. But it's so weird. You know what else this reminds me of? Eyes Wide Shut.
Eyes Wide Shut.
Where they always wear those masks. Mm-hmm. But to me, if they just took away the gratuitous nudity, toned it down a lot, and added, maybe we're missing some of the stuff like the apples
apple speech and all kind of stuff too. Yeah.
And some of the stuff, if we would have got the whole thing, this might have been a perfect movie. If they would have just put it together.
There's other cuts of this film that are just as good.
But I don't know if we'll ever get it because of the negatives being destroyed and losing footage.
Found. Yeah.
So just for that, I'm going to dock it a little bit. I'm going to give it a 9 out of a 10. Still one of my favorite horror movies of all time. It may not be for everybody, but if you're a fan of film and movies and horror, this is one of those ones. And I think another thing that scares me about this movie is it's so realistic that it could happen.
Oh yeah, every small community could have a story like this.
Yes, but even like on an island like that, you know what I mean? Yeah. So take it from Jimbo, give it a watch once. Just be forewarned that nudity.
There's a lot of it.
A lot, and I hate that. So if you can find a TV version, if you don't want to watch all that, hopefully it still holds up. So
yeah, this isn't a movie for kids. This is an adult movie for sure.
Definitely,
it deserves that R rating. It shouldn't be a PG.
So Kyle, would you like to tell the fine folks the next movie that you chose that we will be doing the next time we record?
What movie did we choose?
Well, I know we picked about 5 of them.
We picked about 5.
But which one? I'm going to put you on the spot and let you choose which one we are going to do next, Kyle.
We're going to have a one that I got chosen from a friend. We're going to cover There Will Be Blood.
There Will Be Blood.
There Will Be Blood.
And also, just so everybody knows, after... Hey, Kyle, it's almost our 6-year anniversary.
It is.
It's coming up next incredible. Month, a couple weeks.
Yeah, in April.
Starting with our anniversary, we are going to rip away the 20-year and older movies segment. Ooh. Where we can do something. If we want to go to the movies to see, we will cover it. That way we ain't got to wait 20 years to cover something.
All right.
And Kyle, I think I'm going to make Kyle watch Popeye the Slayer Man. Yes, I just seen it come out on streaming. So Popeye the Slayer Man.
This one movie inspired you to lift the 20-year ban.
I lifted the ban because of Popeye the Slayer Man. Then we'll go down to the tragedy of cinema folklore. But I told Kyle, I said, Kyle, Popeye the Slayer, and we watched the trailer, and he even says, I am what I am. And I said, that's it. We got to. I mean, with such cult classics as that, you got Screamboat Willie coming out, you got Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 3.
Wow, Jimbo. I love the idea of, like, we finally excise this rule, purity, and make room for trash. Not good movies come out recently.
That's it.
Jimbo.
Next time we're doing this, Popeye the Slayer.
I have trash I like too, but this is definitely your trash.
How do you know it's trash if you haven't watched it, Kyle?
Because.
Have you ever watched a movie that you thought was going to be trash and it turned out to be a gem?
Yes, I have. I don't think this is going to be the case, though.
Give me
Give me an example of a movie I thought was going to be bad, turned out being a gem. The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Probably that was a movie that I thought was going to be bad, and I ended up really liking it a lot. Yeah. The Man from U.N.C.L.E. That was a good movie.
All right, so next week we are doing There Will Be Blood, and I think this is the lady that also picked out
A Fish Called Wanda.
A Fish Called Wanda.
Kaylee.
She has to do this too. So what was her name?
Kaylee.
Kaylee. You better not disappoint me again on this one. I'm giving you. Just remember, on the Treasure Cinema, 3 strikes you're out. So we already got strike 1. So with that being said, I think this episode's coming to a close, and that's a wrap.
And cut. It's for a bountiful harvest.
Tragedy of cinema, where memories shimmer. Join us as we toast to the tales we love the most. The tragedy of cinema, where memories shimmer. Join us as we toast to the tales we love the most. Those we love the most. The tragedy of cinema.